Today, I'm diving into the 3 Amigos for a healthy gut, happy brain, belly fat loss reducing techniques, and also menopausal overall well-being. So welcome to my channel. My name is Kate Hartley. I share a weekly video with you every Monday around something related to menopause. If you've not yet subscribed, make sure to do so you don't miss future episodes. And if there's anything you'd like me to cover in a future episode, just drop it in the comments or find me on Instagram at Kate Hartley UK. You can send me a private message there and I'd be delighted to cover that in a future episode. So today, all about gut health and how that implies across the rest of our menopausal experience, plus your general wellness. Gut health is absolutely foundational. It's as important as making sure you sleep well. If your gut health is off, you might be struggling with unexplained weight gain, lacking energy, the mood swings. A lot of the symptoms that are associated with menopause can also actually be linked to your gut health. So if you're one of those people who's literally doing everything, you're balancing your macros, your portion size is right, you're doing the right kinds of exercises, you're drinking the water, you're getting out into nature, you're managing your stress more effectively, and you're still having the problems associated with weight gain, really poor energy levels, etc. First of all, get your thyroid checked, because that's a really simple test for you to have done at your doctor's surgery. If your thyroid is coming back as normal, it may well be worth your while having a stool sample so that you can actually see what is going on in your bowels, so that you know whether you've got a good balance of healthy bacteria versus the bad, or whether in fact you actually have got that imbalance, because then you can correct it. You know what you're dealing with, and if you can get it analyzed, it will tell you which bacteria you need more of. And I'm going to be sort of covering how to maximize your gut health today. But just if you're one of those people who's really, really struggling, I do recommend you get a stool sample done. You can get it at your doctor's surgery. You can also send off for them online. And it's a really simple test. So it could be the difference between you struggling and never feeling where you want to be in life, or indeed actually finding that solution and being able to have that life that's energized and that you enjoy being part of, and that helps to significantly reduce not just your menopause symptoms, but just enables you to live a really optimal life going forward. So you've heard it before, but you are what you eat. If your mum or your dad or your major caregiver made you finish off the vegetables on your plate back in the good old days, they were actually helping to set you up for reduced inflammation and a healthy gut going forward in life. Your gut health isn't just about digestion. It starts at your mouth, it ends at your anus, and everything in between is your microbiome populated by those bacteria. So it starts at the mouth, goes to the stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Your gut is populated with over 39 trillion bacteria. Some of those are viruses, some of them are fungi, and it weighs around 3 pounds, which is the same weight as your brain, which is just like, wow, that's incredible. It's not just about digestion. This ecosystem, your microbiome, is essential for your hormone regulation, for your mood stability, and also for your energy levels. If it's healthy, it will help to reduce the inflammation in your body, which is associated with so many long-term disorders like Parkinson's, dementia, diabetes 2, various cancers, heart disease. Inflammation, chronic inflammation, which is low-grade inflammation over a long period of time, something you really want to avoid. And by focusing on your gut health, you can make significant positive impacts on reducing that inflammation in your body. So firstly, just chatting about belly fat. As our estrogen levels fall, our cortisol levels rise. We have a tendency to accumulate more fat around the belly as we go through perimenopause and beyond. That's largely down to the fact that our cortisol levels do rise. As cortisol rises, our insulin levels are spiked. That is our fat storing hormone. And when we have that imbalance of the healthy versus the bad bacteria in our guts, then that is called dysbiosis. And that can also lead to further inflammation. It can lead to further bloating. So sometimes you might think you've got the belly fat. It actually might be partly bloating as well, because as estrogen falls, it does slow down the motility of our digestive system. So things are in your gut for longer, which allows them to ferment for longer and create more gases. So it could well be a combination of bloating and also belly fat. But belly fat is something that literally, I think nearly every woman that I work with has got an issue with. That's what got me on this journey, is realizing that I had this creeping up belly fat, as well as some other symptoms, but belly fat was the main one. She's like, I need to get rid of this. And just by making a few small tweaks, it made a huge difference. By making a few small tweaks, I just go over those quickly. I started to understand how macros work for my body. So making sure I was eating the right amount of macros in the right sort of proportions, but also getting my portion sizes right. And also carbs are good for us. We need carbs, but managing the right balance of carbs and making sure that I was eating the fiber-rich carbs and not so many of the not so healthy carbs. And I'm not a great sweet lover, so I don't eat cookies really. I don't eat cakes very often. Those sorts of foods I wouldn't even consider as part of my regular diet plan. And diet, I say healthy eating plan, not a weight loss restriction. Also, weight loss restriction, when you're actually cutting out foods and you're starving yourself, or you're reducing the amount of food that you're eating, that can also cause stress in your body. You need to eat food to lose fat effectively, because your body's really clever. If you start to starve it, it will just slow down your metabolism. So it's not as simple as calories in versus calories out. You really need to understand that you need to eat quality calories, combine that with movement, and obviously gut health enhancing foods, which largely are just normal foods, and cutting out the things that are not serving you, and understanding what foods work better for you and what don't, because as you go through the menopause, you can also develop food sensitivities. And so it's just being aware of that. We just need to make a few small changes. And when I did that, started eating more, I started exercising less, and my belly fat went down. And it was just like, how the heck does this happen? But it works. And it works for life. And the great thing about that is because you're eating more, you're eating the right foods, nutritionally, you're reducing your stressors, but also you're active, you feel energized, you feel motivated, you get that motivation back. And the 3 Amigos that I'm going to dive into in a minute will help you understand the importance of your gut health on your brain health and how it helps you show up every day, not just physically, but specifically very mentally as well. Gut health's also really key for overall weight management and also nutritional levels. So if you've not got a healthy gut balance, then you're not actually able to absorb some of the nutrients from your food. So while you might be eating and drinking all the healthy stuff and ruling out the not so healthy stuff, if you can't absorb it effectively, that is also going to contribute to weight gain. The time of menopause often brings quite a lot of stress with it as well. Not only is your body going through a lot of changes, mentally you're struggling with various things, or you may be, if you're having mood swings. I talk to some women who say, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I just like blow up at the smallest little thing. And if we can manage our stress more effectively, that will reduce your menopause symptoms, because the adrenal glands back up the job of the ovaries. So as the ovaries go into retirement or you have them removed, the adrenal glands are naturally designed to pump out some estrogen. Obviously, we don't need as much once we go through the menopause, because technically we're beyond our childbearing years, but they do create a certain amount of estrogen. So if you can manage your adrenal health, it will have a significantly positive impact on your menopause symptoms. When cortisol levels raise, it also stimulates that fat storing hormone, your insulin. So that is one of the major reasons why you might be struggling with belly fat gain through menopause and beyond, because you might find that your legs are getting thinner, your bum, you're losing your muscle there, because the cortisol has this catabolic effect on the body. It breaks your tissues down, which is why we're more prone to brittle bone disease, which is why strength training is so important through menopause and beyond, so that you're making your bones stronger, because strength training directly impacts those bones. It makes them stronger, but it also helps to build the muscle that you're losing more quickly. So, if you don't use it, you will lose it. And the sooner that you start on a healthy regime, if you've not yet started, is just get started. It is never too late to make these changes, but the sooner that you can get started, the better. And people say to me, oh, I haven't got the motivation. I'm too tired. I need to get through this stage of my life first before I take on anything else. No, this stage of your life is when you need to make these changes. And when I go into the 3 Amigos, it's going to help you understand the implications of your gut health on these things that help your motivation, help you get up, you'll get up and go, and also which will contribute to you thinking, okay, right, today is the day I am actually going to start with a new healthy regime that's going to support your bone strength, your muscle strength, your energy levels, your gut health, etc., etc. So now coming onto the gut-brain axis, you may have heard about this in the past. The gut and the brain talk to each other all the time via the vagus nerve. That's why deep breathing is so good for stress management, because you're stimulating that vagus nerve. The vagus nerve actively stimulates your relaxation response in the body. Just chatting about brain fog and mental clarity. Brain fog is a common symptom, as we all know, of menopause as we go through, and a healthy gut actually creates the neurotransmitters serotonin and GABA, which help us feel happier, more at peace, more relaxed, but also gives us brain clarity. On the other side of the fence, an unhealthy or an imbalanced gut can make those matters worse. Same with mood swings, same thing happens with the neurotransmitters being negatively impacted, such as serotonin and dopamine, another of our happy hormones. It's sort of our reward incentivizing hormone. That can have a big impact on actually how you're feeling. 90 to 95% of serotonin gets created in the gut, not the brain. 50% of dopamine gets created in the gut. So gut health really is absolutely key to how you're feeling in life. And now I'm going to chat about the 3 amigos, the 3 amino acids that are really important that you have a good understanding of, because you get them from your food. And if you can make sure that you're including these types of food into your regular diet, as in healthy eating plan, then you're going to, providing you've got a reasonable balance of the healthy versus the not so healthy bacteria in your gut, you're going to benefit tremendously. So first of all, tryptophan. Tryptophan is the precursor for serotonin and also melatonin. So like I just said, serotonin is really your happy hormone, and melatonin is your sleepy hormone. So when we are eating foods that have enough tryptophan in them, we are necessarily helping to boost our mood and also improve our chances of a good night's sleep. Foods high in tryptophan are things like turkey, bananas, dark chocolate, seeds, nuts, tofu. Is there anything else off the top of my head I can think of? Chicken is also high in tryptophan. I mean, there's a wide range of foods. To be honest, if you're eating a healthy, balanced diet, so lots of whole foods, you're likely to be getting enough tryptophan. Tyrosine is the next amino acid, and that is key to you producing enough dopamine and also epinephrine. Epinephrine is also known as adrenaline. So without sufficient levels of dopamine and epinephrine, you are lacking that motivation. You've got no get up and go. If you feel like you wake up and then you just want to lie on the couch all day long, that is likely down to not effective levels of dopamine and epinephrine in your body. And gut health is incredibly important. That healthy gut bacteria help you create that tyrosine that is that precursor for the dopamine and the epinephrine. Foods high in tyrosine are things like lentils, almonds, edamame, I think that's how you say it. I always struggle with that word. Finally, indole-3 lactic acid. Indole-3 lactic acid is produced when the bacteria metabolize tryptophan. It converts into indole propionic acid, so we'll just call it IPA for simplicity's sake, and that helps to reduce oxidative stress. Boosting your gut health with foods like fermented foods, so sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, kombucha, those are all going to help you produce the indole-3 lactic acid that's going to help combat that oxidative stress and keep you protected from the free radicals. And then finally, a healthy balance of gut bacteria helps you to remove excess estrogen. You may have heard of estrogen dominance, and you might be thinking, yeah, but I haven't got enough estrogen, so don't I want estrogen dominance? No, because it's the proportions. So estrogen falls, progesterone falls, testosterone falls. Yes, as women, we all have testosterone too. Just on that one, when women are about to start strength training, they say, but I don't want to look bulky. I don't want to look like the Hulk. You're not going to, because you have not got enough testosterone in your body. But we all do have some testosterone. Men's levels of testosterone are much, much higher than ours. And there's even something called the andropause, which is as men get older, their levels of testosterone drop, and that can lead to erectile dysfunction, just a lack of drive. It can also lead to weight gain, etc., etc. So they do experience a fall in testosterone too. But from our point of view, we've got the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. The progesterone and the testosterone tend to fall faster than the estrogen does, which leaves us with that, what is called the estrogen dominance. We don't want that. We want them at sort of similar levels, even though they're falling. We actually want them to be sort of matching each other percentage-wise, ratio-wise, which is why we don't want excess estrogen. Also, if you have excess fat, fat creates estrogen. So you're actually making your menopause symptoms worse. Fat also acts like a sponge, which hangs on to hormones. So as well as creating hormones, it hangs on to hormones. And that's why certain cancers are much more elevated if you have excess fat in your body. So, you know, fat management, weight management, I think we all tend to think of the aesthetics first. I think that's a nice byproduct. Fat management is about long-term health, reducing inflammation and reducing your risks of developing things like heart disease and cancer. And also, I mean, imagine the amount of impact on your joints that causes when you've got excess weight on your body. It's like walking around in a weighted vest all the time. No wonder people have the joint pains, the hip problems, the knee problems, the ankle problems. So be very mindful of the fact that getting rid of fat is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. And I'm not talking about skinny. We need fat. Fat is super important. The cholesterol is the precursor for all of our hormones. So one of the worst things you can do is go on a low-fat diet. Make sure you're getting your fats. You need your healthy fats. But the problem is a lot of the food that we're eating is very high in sugar. If you're eating processed foods, it's just dumped full of addicted things, including unhealthy fats and sugars. So please don't think, okay, well, I'm just going to go fat-free, because you really need your fats, but make sure you're eating the healthy fats like the olive oil, the avocados, avocado oil, raw cheeses, butter, grass-fed butter. Go for high-quality butter. Ditch the margarine. It's full of rubbish. It's got the trans fats. It's not good for you. So really focus. Coconut oil is another good one. Nuts, seeds. There are so many, meat, fish. We need healthy fats in our diet. Without them, you're really going to struggle. You'll struggle to support your nervous system. And the brain is made up of a lot of fat. We need fat also to insulate ourselves too. You know, without enough fat in our bodies, we are doing ourselves a disservice on so many different levels. But we're also always cold. And you know, you'll see in extreme cases when people have lost a lot of weight, and often associated with eating disorders, they get really hairy, loads of tiny little hairs across their body, because the body wants to keep itself warm. So your body will adjust. It will get hairier if you're really restricting calories. That's a slightly different conversation, really. That is more of a psychotherapeutic issue. But just be mindful of the fact that healthy fats are really important for you. You need to be aiming for around about 30% of your macros to be coming from healthy fats every single day. So in conclusion, practical steps that you can take to improve your gut health. Fiber. Fiber is the prebiotics. So the prebiotics feed the probiotics. The probiotics are the healthy gut bacteria, and the prebiotics are the food for the healthy gut bacteria. So while we're feeding our cells, we really need to be mindful of the fact that, okay, are we feeding the little critters, the ones that we really want to be healthy, in our gut too? And fruit and vegetables, they are so important because of that fiber intake, as well as the vitamins and minerals and everything else that they have in them. Aim for a wide variety of vegetables and fruit. If you have a smoothie, add, you know, a range of berries every day to it, and frozen cauliflower and maybe frozen butternut squash. You can't taste the vegetables, it just gives it a lovely creamy texture. Even things like, I mean, be mindful of the amount of carbs, particularly like the grainy carbs that you're eating, but you only need a small amount. We eat way more than we should do. It is about balancing your macros. But you know, not long ago when I did a gut, in fact, I'm actually running a gut healing system at the moment. If you want more information on that, drop gut health in the comments, or come and find me on Instagram at Kate Hart the UK. I'll explain that to you in more detail. But although we only have a small amount of, say, rice or pasta or whatever it might be at our final meal of the day, instead of just having rice, I'm having rice and quinoa and bulgur wheat, obviously in small proportions. But then you're getting a wide range of different minerals and vitamins and fiber, etc., from those technically carbs. And the same applies for your vegetables and your fruit. So instead of just having maybe your carrot and your potato every night, or whatever it might be that you eat, you want to aim for a wide range of healthy bacteria. And to have that wide range of healthy bacteria, you need to make sure that you're feeding them with lots of different healthy food sources. Incorporate fermented foods. There is more and more research pointing to the fact that if you eat fiber is actually not enough for optimal gut health, particularly if you need to readjust your gut health balance. You want to be looking to add fermented foods like the kombucha, like the kimchi, kefir, sauerkraut, that sort of thing. You might think, I absolutely hate sauerkraut and kimchi. I have to say, I'm not a great fan of it. But one thing I have found is if you add a small amount into, like if you do like a 1-pan wonder and stick, I don't know, a tablespoon of kimchi into it, it really brings the flavors to life. So you can't really taste the kimchi, but it just, because it's a fermented food and the salts and the vinegary stuff in it, it really does bring the flavors to life. So if ever I'm doing like a bolognese or something with minced beef, I'm not a great fan of minced beef, and I like to add loads of different herbs and spices to it. Kimchi is perfect in that. It makes a really nice sort of Korean beef meal. So do get creative with it, because if you can add your fermented foods, that will have a really positive impact on your gut health. It's another reason I started making my own sourdough recently, because again, it's a fermented bread, and because of that fermentation process, the gluten is a lot lower in it, and it's just a lot healthier for you. Same reason I make my own kombucha. I drink it. I drink a lot of kombucha because it's so good for your health, good for your gut bacteria, and it's also a really great non-alcoholic alternative if you're trying to cut down on your booze. It contains trace amounts, but very, very little. Stay hydrated. I did a Menopause Monday not long ago about the fact that if you are even mildly dehydrated, it can lock your fat burning ability. I'll link that at the end of this video in case you want to catch that. But when I was doing the research on it, it was just fascinating. And I think it's something that we all need to be aware of. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water, ideally half your body weight in pounds in fluid ounces. So if you weigh 140 pounds, you need to be aiming to drink 70 fluid ounces as a minimum of water every single day. Reduce processed foods and sugar, obviously, ideally cut them out. You don't need them. It is poison. It shouldn't even be called food, because it's not food. It's just a concoction of various things with maybe a little bit of food in it. Ideally, cook your own from home. And I know people say, oh, I haven't got time to cook my own from home. How important is your health to you? Because we prioritize the things that are important to us. If you're honestly saying you haven't got time to cook from home, you're honestly saying your health is not important to you. And I know that might sound very blunt and dogmatic, and it might piss a few people off, but batch cooking, if you can get into meal planning and batch cooking, you actually save yourself a ton of time. If you come and find my Instagram and have a look at the link in the bio, there are masses of free resources in there. Come and do it with me. Do the strength training workouts. Learn about how to maximize your gut health. Learn about how to balance your macros and understand the portion sizes, because it's not rocket science. It's actually dead easy, and you will feel so. I mean, I'm 54 and I have better energy now than I did when I was 20. Of course, I'm getting wrinkles, but I feel I'm in better shape physically than I was when I was in my 20s. It is never too late to start. And it doesn't mean having to get sweaty and feel like you're about to vomit on the spot, because that's the wrong kind of exercise. You want something that you can do, you feel proud of, that's going to challenge you a bit, because otherwise there's no point in doing it. But I promise you, it will make you feel so much better afterwards. In fact, I'll drop these. I call it my sparkle back form, because it is very much about getting your sparkle back. If you want to learn a bit more about how I can help you and the ladies that I work with, then fill in that sparkle back form. It's literally just asking of your specific goals, any struggles that you have specifically, and then I can get back in touch with you and, just share how I think I can help you best, and then we can take it from there. But do check out those resources in my Instagram bio, because it's so much there that could help you. But batch cooking, you'll save yourself time, you'll save yourself money, you'll save your gut health. And you might think, oh God, the last thing I want to do is batch cook. Again, it's all a choice. So reduce your processed foods, reduce your sugar. If you can, cut out your booze. If a lot of people don't drink now anyway, so kudos to you. I still love my glasses of wine. And then exercise regularly. So getting out in nature too. You can exercise outside, go and do some walking in nature. You do need to strength train. We're also good at living mediocre lives and feeling bad, and we don't realize how bad we feel until we actually start to feel better. And it's like this weighted blanket has been lifted off us. And I promise you, once you get to that feeling better phase, you'll never want to go back again. But it does take a little bit of effort. It does take a little bit of discipline. understanding how those 3 amino acids, so the tryptophan, the tyrosine, and the indole-3 lactic acid, impact your energy levels, impact your drive, your enthusiasm, and also your ability to protect yourself. 70% of your immune system is around the gut. So when our gut health is off, and you might be struggling with leaky gut, which is essentially allowing the bacteria through the gut wall into the bloodstream, creating that low-grade chronic inflammation that then is responsible for the things like fibromyalgia, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, cognitive decline. Your gut is so key to every aspect of how you show up in life and your longevity, and more importantly, your healthy longevity. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for your company. If you've got any, if you've worked on improving your gut health, please share below in the comments, because I think it's so easy to keep talking about it, and until you actually take action on it, you're not going to experience the benefits of it. But gut health will make the biggest change in how you feel through your menopause and beyond. And I promise you, if you start working on your gut health, your belly fat, being as that's the problem that most people come to me with, is going to reduce significantly, and you are going to feel fabulous. So I look forward to catching up with you next week. Make it a great week, stay safe, and chat to you soon.